Yeah, we called a meeting to order at 7 here. Jim Castle, I was asked to maybe step in and replace Mark Floro, who can't be here, and our vice chair, Tim. Let's see, before we do that, we'll call a roll, I guess.
Mr. Flora, Mr. Hemi, Mr. Bethel.
Yeah.
Mr. Castle,
Here.
Mr. Cochran,
Here.
Mr. Lundy,
Here.
Mr. Rhodes, Mr. Wilsey,
Here.
Mr. Youngwood. Yes.
All righty, the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, at this point, we need nominations are in order for the temporary chair for the evening.
Did you?
But somebody's
We need
got
to
to
come up, oh, make a nomination?
Yeah.
I nominate Jim Castle as the chair.
Right, second. Okay. Any other further nominations? Okay, we don't even have to vote on it. Approval of minutes, last meeting. Motion to approve minutes from last meeting? I motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved from last meeting. Communications? None. And no persons to be heard. Unfinished business. And again, I think we got through from last time the unfinished business. Of course, the new items wouldn't be new business, but I think we'll just leave it up to the director's report that Craig will do for us. Yeah, right, we move on to that.
This is gonna be fast. First off, probably all know Dan Bird passed away. Second. Sad. A bunch of us went out to Kim's house, took some flowers. So we're dealing with that and kind of moving forward. James took off the day before, so bummed out about that. He kind of knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's not in the report, but so we know. Moving on. Harbor rates come into effect here in about 3 weeks. There's still been no real pushback or feedback. I think that's due in large part to how, this board and staff kind of handled that major pushback we got in the very beginning with that rate study. So that's good. We'll see what happens April 1st when it comes to fruition. For the harbor's summer temps, there's 2 returning assistant harbor masters. We'll knock down on the training. There's another one. It's in the process right now of being hired, so it should be done with that portion. In the report, I did see Robin Kinney, 3rd year. She'll be coming back as an office administrator. So once again, knocks down on the training. At the time that this was written, we were still looking for 2 temp maintenance workers. We have 1 returning from last year. I ended up speaking to him yesterday, getting him to come back. Andrew and Nick also gave him a shout and encouraged him to come back. So looking for 1 more temp maintenance on the harbor side. So we're just about build up and we have a couple prospects there. So that's looking good. The new full-time maintenance position, Goran Grossman-Orr, his first day was last Thursday and he's jumped right in, kind of learning everything, very helpful around the office, even moving stuff, doing whatever. He seems to be getting on good with everybody in the whole office, not just Nick and Andrew. So that's been pleasant. Harbor operations, there's been a few things. One of the majors, I guess, there was a leak in city float water. Nick and Andrew ran down there, went to fix it, found 4 leaks, and ended up fixing all of them. They also had one of the through rods shear on the fingers of, I think, float 11. They got there's 4 boats tied up and they have to clear off both sides of it, so they got all 4 to move. Took them about 12 hours to get that repaired. So that was pretty good. And that's quite the process because you have to tear apart 2 sides to fix one.
How do they do that? They have to bring in a boat?
So they disconnect everything completely. One of the rods go all the way across the float and tie into the fingers. So one of those is sheared on one end. So they have to disconnect everything, both fingers, and they tie them off and kind of push them out, move them aside. Then they have to cut a bunch of stuff out, and then put new like 12 to 14 foot rods back through to tie it all together and just do it. So it's just a lot of moving things around in a really bad situation. And the weather wasn't great at first, especially when it happened. Wave action causes that, wave and wind. So it's quite the process, but they did a pretty good job. And like I said, it was 12 hours from start to finish once they got the project going. So that was good. What's not on here, and I just thought about it while I was sitting here, and it affects probably some of you guys. The drive down crane is down at Bar Harbor South there. The port crane still works, and Andrew's been working on getting the replacement parts. At first, it looked like it was going to be like a 6-month lead time, and I think he's got that knocked down to about 4 weeks. So won't be as soon as everybody would want it, but it'll be much sooner than it could have been. So good job, Andrew. Over here, the Harbor Department received the Chinook Award from the Ketchikan Visitors Bureau, and it's an award it recognizes an organization that brings a conference or something to town, and so they for the AAHPA 2023 Harbor Conference that was here, and they gave a number of revenue it generated for the city, somewhere around $200,000. That doesn't include the money that they raised for scholarship and all that other stuff. So, good job to the Harbor Department. I would like to just shout out to May, James, Robin, who is the temp, and Dan, and Angel, who was out of the office by that time, but still doing a lot of work on that conference. So 5 of them really did a really good job making that happen. It was very successful. I know we talked about it in the fall. Harbor operations, I just left that James is out of town and you're stuck with me. On to the port. Hiring, still doing that. I think the official number right now is we're at 33, so looking for about 9 more. Of the 32 on here, we had 26 returns, so that's over 75%, which I'm happy with because that's a lot of training I don't have to do. It's TWIC cards we don't have to purchase. It's flag reports we don't have to pay for. So each time we can hire someone back, we save somewhere around, it's like $300 and some in just the credentials they need to have. And then you have the time it takes to train them, because they have somebody with them the whole time that they're starting on the street, and then once they get on port, so we can knock that back. It's time saved and also money saved. Did do the job fair up at the high school, which was good. Had 2 return employees come by and say, "Oh yeah, can I come back to work?" Like, yes, all you have to do is tell me.
Yeah.
So got them hired that day, or at least got their paperwork back down to HR, so they could be hired. And that process is very fast. When you hired, they don't need to go into extensive background checks. So just kind of give it to them. They check the court docket, see if they've been in there, and go on from there. I was talking just briefly with Mr. Bethel about hiring, doing that stuff. And you suggested, putting up signs or something. What I'm probably going to end up doing, and I talked to HR yesterday, Tuesday, yeah, so yesterday. Lots happened since then. Probably going to leave it open and just see what happens. We have left it open into May. The last 2 years that I've been here, so my first 2 years, we've left it open trying to get people. But I might even leave it open past that, see if we can't pick up a few people even in June that are going to be available in September.
Sure.
September's our worst month. The high school kids, I probably said this in the last two meetings, they leave the 20th of August. A lot of the college kids right about that same time. So we can leave the hiring open and pick people up in June that are good, July, August, September. It's gonna save on overtime, save everybody back just a little bit. So see how that goes. That's up in the air, but that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. Especially if we're gonna still be short, because I want to hit that 42 number and then see where we're at. Berth 4 Yokohama replacement, that is all moving forward. We had to do a budget transfer. So did a memo and a budget transfer stuff for council that got approved last Thursday. Oh no, I'm thinking about Berth 3, sorry. So anyways, Yokohama's going forward. Nick and Andrew were able to get all the hardware, chain, shackles, swivels, coming. Everything's in line to be here in April, and our first ship isn't until the 9th of May on Berth 4. So that'll give us hopefully like a 3-week weather window. Have it at first Yokohama, and there's only 6, is gonna take the longest, just kind of figuring out the lengths of the chain and everything. But once we have that one done, even one side done, then we'll be able to knock out the rest. So I plan 2 hours at the least, probably 4 hours at the most per Yokohama. So you're looking at, probably 4 days to get that done. And the Berth 3 expansion is what we needed to do the budget transfer for, and that is kind of misleading because it has nothing to do with the expansion, but in that expansion project was the replacement of the bollards that are behind Tongass that I talked about last time. So budget transfer pays for the engineer to go and re-permit because our permits ran out for Berth 3 with all the DEC stuff and all that. So we'll get those separated from the complete project. And then P&D will also rebid, already get the whole bid packet ready and get the bids out and do all the bid management for us in that $75,000. Moving forward with that one, that should be, if we can get everything going by this time next year, we'll be getting close to being done with that. So we'll be ready for the 25 ships. Berth 1, mooring dolphin repair. It hasn't had power since I got here. They did do a fix with a cable that would be used to run power from like a parking lot down a ramp to a harbor, but dry. This cable goes underwater along the bottom, back up. That we're going to put in there. Big armored cable. We're going to get that whole job done. It's going to be a little bit less than $10,000. So there'll be power to the dolphin. The capstan winch will work, so we don't have to have more longshoremen out there. We don't, but they don't. So that'll speed up that whole process. There's also a red light out there to kind of mark it, the channel entrance there for the harbor. So that light will be working again in the middle of winter. More recently, project I don't know if you guys knew much about. It was in our budget, but the cameras on the port. We did have a lot of vandalism last year. The year before, we had a lot of homeless issues. Didn't have as many homeless issues last year, just a few. But the vandalism was really bad. It did take man hours and all this. Talked to KPU and Channel Electric. We're going to be able to get Berth 1 through 3 done this year before the season starts. And it'll go from about a 6% coverage of the port, which is very, very small, to about 80% plus. So we'll be able to see nearly all of it, this new camera system. Then next year we'll do Berth 4. Berth 4 is not really the problem child, it's that Berth 3 areas especially, and on down towards Berth 4. So that'll be exciting.
I can't remember, can anyone see those in real time? Or is it more like you come back after somebody
There,
did
yes, it's a CCTV, so it records 2 weeks, let's say. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on the resolution of the cameras and the size of the DVR. These cameras that are going in will be accessible on a device or at the office on a computer. There'll be very few people that actually have control. Right now, camera system existing hasn't been changed or updated like since it went in. So there's kids or younger folks that work for me that know the password and they get in there and they'll catch their friends doing stuff and then record it and post it. So this will be myself, James, Chief Hines, Chief Walls, police and fire will have access, and maybe a couple others, but it'll be, people that need to be looking at it, not
But
just,
no public vision,
No,
no.
like KPU
No.
where you can go watch.
No,
Okay.
they're keeping the ones that they have down there already, but yeah, these will be totally separate. They're gonna be on the same system as the harbor, so the same people have access to the current ones that the harbor has. We'll have that. But yeah, no one else outside of a few people that we want to have access will have access to it.
And that's it, huh?
That's it.
All righty.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks for the report. Anybody have any future agenda items we can record? I don't have any, seeing none. This that moves us on to board member comments.
I could start. Going forward to get a new harbor master, does this board have any?
That I don't know. It would probably be something that if you guys did have a suggestion or a recommendation, bring that up to Delilah Walsh. But
Okay,
yeah, I don't know for sure.
I
And
just
they-
didn't know how that process worked.
The last time, when Dan did get hired, I'm not sure if anybody was, they put it out on the website for anybody to apply. And that was
Yeah, I
it.
think that was just kind of like in-house, right?
So we have not received any word on what's going to happen going forward from the city manager's office. I'd imagine once James is back, we'll probably get something.
Good.
Yeah, I think the city, I guess the city handles that, right? Seems like they always have in the past. They found the next one and,
Probably their job, I just didn't know who's.
yeah. Yeah, I don't remember in times past that we were asked to have input on the hiring process. I don't think so.
I'm just a local guy, I like keep things,
That'd be nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just my thoughts. So we have to lobby other people,
Yeah.
get your. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Eric?
Thanks for putting this on for such a short meeting. Thank you, May.
Anybody else?
no, thank you, May, as always.
Does anybody know Mr. Youngblood?
And,
I don't know that name.
A harbor user. And then he used to work at First Bank for a long time.
Okay.
All I know.
We'll have to have questions ready for him next time.
Yeah, I do.
My only comments are, yeah, Dan is going to be sorely missed. I got to know him over the years. And he was a great guy, great help. I was glad to see him make harbor master, and it's a big loss. So, yeah, it kind of sucks that cancer took him, but I'm glad we had him while we did. So,
Definitely a very nice guy to work with.
all right. Nothing further. I guess we're calling for a meeting adjourned. Anybody, a motion? Second? Meeting adjourned. Sure.
Yeah.
You'll have to just fill in the blanks for the call in the